Alrighty, welcome back. We are on episode number 97. We're back at the Emulator project. Last few episodes we ran around the map waiting for time to pass. Made the mistake of not turning in the quest and passed time when I thought I had turned in the quest, so we had to go waste more time. Anyway, so we're back here at the Emulator project, and a couple of days have passed. So we've got the message, we're back, and let's see what happens.
Henrietta jumps up from her seat.
Where have you been? I even sent you a message. 4 test runs have been completed under normal conditions. We can get started.
Following the direction of your gaze, Russo nods.
Yep. Today they're blue. That means I'm full of hope for the experiment to succeed.
Russo presses a button on the console.
The doors to the emulator are unlocked. You can go down. I'll start the machine as soon as you get to the launch pad and put on the glasses Abbott gave you. If you feel your life is in danger, halt the session immediately. Good luck.
Russo takes a short break from her work, bent over the console.
Why are you still here? Get down to the emulator. It's all set. We're only waiting for you.
Only waiting for me. Apparently that's not what I need to do. I guess it's the control, or the main console. Let's go to the main console.
The closer you get to the spinning rotor of the emulator, the stronger the vibration. It's not simply mechanical motion, but something quite different. Invisible but tangible waves of energy are flowing over and through you. The projectors light up above the site, and Russo's voice booms from the speakers.
Get ready for emulator launch. Counting down now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Her voice explodes in your ears. The world flashes once with an unbearably bright light and drowns.
Okay.
Something's happening. Your next footstep falls in a roar of absolute silence. All sense of space and time vanishes. And you find yourself at an indefinable point in a vast, white nothing. There's nothing around you but a fathomless sea of white light. But you don't need to see Maelstrom to know it is nearby. Its quick, intense rhythm reminds you of the feverish beating of a huge heart. The pulsing grows even faster as you touch it in your thoughts. All this space without form or boundaries suddenly unfolds towards you, like a giant plane. Like a locator, a dashboard with dozens of buttons, ready to launch the exact program you specify.
To expand the entire zone. Hey, I think I'm going to do this again.
Maelstrom reacts to your command. This is obviously a suicidal choice, and the terrible consequences follow immediately. A wall of intense heat roars down on you. Beyond the blood pulsating in your ears, you hear the distant shriek of sirens. You're thrown out of the mist with a sharp kick. You fall to the metal floor of the hall, illuminated now by several flashing beacons. Looking back at the observation deck where Russo had been, you see her black silhouette against bright white, beating with her fists on the armored glass in agony. The air in your chest grows hot and heavy. Your physical form pops like a ripe grape squashed underfoot, and that is where it all ends.
So, let it expand. That would have been cool as hell if they had two completely different games going on, where one you had the expanded one and one you didn't. And they went on to two completely different paths. Why is it not letting me come here?
Something's happening. Your next footstep falls in a roar of absolute silence. All sense of space and time vanishes, and you find yourself at an indefinable point in a vast, white nothing. There's nothing around you but a fathomless sea of white light. But you don't need to see Maelstrom to know it is nearby. Its quick, intense rhythm reminds you of the feverish beating of a huge heart. The pulsing grows even faster as you touch it in your thoughts. All this space without form or boundaries suddenly unfolds towards you, like a giant plane. Like a locator, a dashboard with dozens of buttons, ready to launch the exact program you specify. Maelstrom reacts almost instantly. A sharp burst of energy builds like an avalanche, and you're overwhelmed by a blurry, chaotic wave that just as quickly ebbs again. Normal space and time return all at once, and you, suffocating, struggle in the emptiness, falling to your knees. The white light snaps out. You're back in the main hall of the emulator.
Taming the element. Quest completed. The entity was both peaceful and reasonable. your, your journey is just beginning, unless you tell it to expand. Oh, what's all this? Now we got all kinds of people over here. How long have I been out? I guess I should talk to her first and come back and talk to them.
Henrietta freezes, phone receiver in hand. Her face is lit up with an expression of pure triumph.
They're calling from everywhere, saying that Maelstrom is moving. I don't want to assume anything, but if it really is retreating to the center, then trade routes will be restored soon. Carmine Heights and Phalanx headquarters will no longer be isolated.
Russo hangs up the receiver and hugs you tight.
I can't believe we made it. If we were in a movie, I'd look deep into your eyes. But since our relationship is strictly platonic...
The phone on the table breaks out with a jarring ring. Henrietta picks up the receiver.
Project Emulator, Director Russo speaking. Madam Chairman. Yes, they're here.
Russo holds out the receiver.
Nakamura!
She exclaims in a dramatic whisper.
Tell her you can't talk right now.
Oh, how's that? I don't mind if you wish to keep it formal.
The cold yet melodic voice sounds slightly sarcastic, but still polite. Nakamura pauses and you hear the subtle click of a button through the receiver.
On behalf of the new committee and its official citizen and other inhabitants, I thank you for your conscientious assistance. I'll be waiting for you at the council building in the city. Please be present for the upcoming meeting.
Now her voice sounds different. She must have switched to speaker mode. The chairwoman ignores this. As soon as you finish, she continues to speak.
Your service has caught the attention of some who erroneously believe they wield real power. They'll approach you with proposals, which might even seem tempting at first glance. Don't agree to anything, and don't make any deals until we have the chance to speak. I look forward to our next meeting. Best of luck to you.
A dial tone sounds from the receiver. Henrietta elegantly shifts her gaze from the phone to you.
Welcome to big-time politics, eh? Don't get your hopes up. Nakamura isn't a very nice person, but I personally prefer not nice Nakamura over nice dilly-dalliers. I don't know what she told you, but you do not want to mess with her.
In the heat of the moment, Russo gives you a peck on the cheek.
Damn, I still can't believe we pulled it off. You're one smart cookie. Go have a drink. You deserve it. I'll write a message to the Treasury. Those guys owe you a solid bonus.
Henrietta proudly raps herself on the chest with her small fist.
Nobody will argue with that. But don't waste your time talking me up. Go rest. I'll start on deciphering the telemetry.
Attention, attention. Please handle
In the near future. Interesting. Alright. In the near future, huh? Oh, did my companions leave me? Is that what happened here?
Yoko looks up as you approach.
Research mode.
You hear the characteristic scanning sound, and a green ray quickly runs through your body from head to toe.
Level of residual psychoradiation. Average, within normal range. Vital indicators, normal. Cognitive function, normal. Glad you're okay, Senpai.
Yoko blinks, her eyes in contempt.
Technically, Senpai, you have become something of a conduit for the Maelstrom's anomalous energy. Unfortunately, I can't say more precisely because I didn't do any research. I assessed the risk for the project and did not enter the restricted area. Here are my approximate calculations.
The robo-girl turns the Kyra's screen towards you and displays a huge array of data on it. The fans in the robo-girl's head start buzzing. She seems to be calculating the rationality of your proposal.
Okay, Senpai. We will continue our scientific mission.
Yoko squints her eyes.
Command protocols are set. I am ready to explore the dome, Senpai. The research mode is paused. Social mode. Hello, Senpai.
Yoko's eyes change color again. Yoko nods mechanically several times.
Yes, Senpai. Any conversation means collecting data which coincides with my primary purpose of conducting research.
The fans in Yoko's head that had been silent for a while begin droning again.
I interpret the term political force as a community with over 150 followers, a detailed program, and leaders to implement this program. There are 6 such communities under the dome. Which one do you wish to discuss, Senpai?
A bluish light glows under the robo-girl's dim plastic eyes.
The new committee is the dominant social and political organization inside the dome. Strong points, territory, personnel, resources, scientific potential. Weaknesses, economy, inefficient bureaucracy, rapidly declining population, and oppressive penal system. I can continue with the list, Senpai, though there are 41 more points.
The fans drone, abruptly dies.
The picnic neutral zone is an exception on this list. Data about the community is fragmentary and lacks confirmation. Strong points, good location. Weaknesses, political isolation, low defense capacity, rudimentary economy.
The girl considers for a few seconds, the light in her eyes pulsing. She seems to be reading data from her magnetic storage.
The Phalanx, a military, trade, scientific, and terrorist organization. Strong points, human resources, good location, talented leaders, development program. Weaknesses, too militarized, human resources. I have no data regarding the ambivalent evaluation of its personnel policy.
The blue glow in the robo-girl's eyes dims, then brightens again.
Carmine Heights is the formal name for a number of small political groups living in a shared territory. Strong points, mature political system, scientific and engineering potential. Weaknesses, division, lack of resources, weak defenses.
Your counterpart studies you with gleaming, ice-blue eyes.
The Church of the Maelstrom is a quasi-religious totalitarian sect. Strong points, unified by a single idea, relative autonomy. Weaknesses, unreliable leaders, socially dangerous ideology.
You hear several distinct clicks from the robo-girl's head. Her eyes glow with an uneven blue light.
The Fops, a spontaneously formed group of bandits. Strong points, resistance to Maelstrom, military power. Weaknesses, mental disability, aggression, members' short lifespan.
Yoko nods mechanically several times.
Yes, Senpai. Any conversation means collecting data which coincides with my primary purpose of conducting research.
The fan in the robo-girl's head changes tone slightly.
By asking me personal questions, you imply that I am a person, not just a machine. If I had emotions, I would be pleased, Senpai.
Light flashes briefly through her dim, plastic eyes.
I can provide a full log of my activities for the last 6 months. The log is all technical data, which would mostly be useless. I can sort by specific data types if you wish.
The fans in Yoko's head start droning frantically. The noise of fans eventually stops. She lifts her head.
Data sorted, Senpai. These are my tasks for the world study. Research missions, soil and water sampling, measurement of radiation and chemical pollution. Self-defense as necessary. Some of my permanent memory clusters are locked.
Yoko's emotion module gives her face a credibly confused expression.
The question is invalid. I provide general technical data. Akira Okawara, Super Administrator with access to both software and hardware features. Access level 98.2%, which is 3.7% higher than my... Ooh, wow.
The robo-girl's eyes go dark for a second, then light up again.
Restart complete. Research mode. Senpai, I have discovered that Akira controls my functions at a higher level than I thought.
Yoko nods mechanically several times.
Yes, Senpai. Any conversation means collecting data which coincides with my primary purpose of conducting research. Alright, Senpai. We can change the subject. It is still within the parameters of my mission.
The android girl happily closes her eyes.
Sleep mode.
Yoko says, loud and clear. She stands at rigid attention and goes quiet.
So he controls more of her mind than she knows, huh? Interesting. Where'd Crump run off to? That's not Crump. It's Katarina. Okay.
Looking closely at the woman studying the indicators on the remote control panel, you realize that in front of you is Katarzyna Belitskaya. When you approach, she presses her hands to her face, looking at you, then at the devices, then back at you.
Did I succeed? Is that really you? And are you okay?
The White cautiously inquires. Katarzyna crosses her arms in displeasure.
Well, that's a fine hello. I'm glad to see you too. I thought you'd say thank you, Katarzyna, for coming to my aid, for trying to get me out of there together with the emulator stuff and all that.
She frowns in resentment.
Well, a lot actually.
Katya brisks up.
I finally slept in a normal bed and found an actual hot shower here. Yes, they also serve excellent set meals. I realized that the employees of the emulator have some fine living conditions here. Why the question, though? And why are you grinning?
Katarzyna looks at you in confusion. Belitskaya nods readily.
Yes, I too thought we should stick together. I'm willing to come with you and this robo-kid. I've seen her lot in the lab.
Belitskaya casts around nervously.
I'm starting to worry again. Frankly, I'm straight up scared. We're not gonna get stranded far from civilization, are we? Are there dry closets where you're headed? Hey! I don't like that silence.
The White nods cautiously.
Okay, just don't ask me about what happened at Magellan, okay? You won't, right?
The White perks up.
Well, I can tell you about all of them. I'm a scientist. I know all sorts of complex topics. Ask. And stop grinning like that.
Katarzyna cringes in disgust.
I didn't really like Cronus, but the new committee became even worse. Their laws are too strict.
and there are too many of them. You can inadvertently violate several at once and immediately become an outcast. I've no idea what Nakamura is thinking. Well, the fact that they don't judge people by their characteristics from the Cronus database is already good enough. In fact, the less they look like the committee, the better.
Belitskaya is thinking about something. Your companion raises her palms in protest.
What, you wanna go there? Thanks, but I'd pass. They're kinda, you know, warlike. I'm scared of those.
Katarzyna hesitates for a while, choosing her words carefully.
How do I say this? They're kinda cool, but they can't agree on anything. Can't say if I could live there or not.
Belitskaya shivers.
I think about them sometimes. They come off as creepy, but there is some sense in what they're doing. Guess it's better to be happy in a fictional world than to suffer all your life in reality.
The girl grimaces.
They are filthy, gross psychos who live in a trash heap. They don't even have toilets. What am I even supposed to say about them?
The White nods cautiously.
Okay, just don't ask me about what happened at Magellan, okay? You won't, right? What personal questions? Ask away, but I'm not promising anything.
The White's gaze grows even more wary, and she turns slightly paler. Katarzyna looks puzzled.
About myself? I never talk much about myself, even on dates. I have an honors degree. I've never been married. Never had any abortions. My parents have a nice home in Wisconsin with a swimming pool. They got 2 cars. Dad thought about buying a yacht, but I'm probably telling the wrong things, right? Huh? I'm just spewing nonsense.
Belitskaya falls silent in frustration.
Dad thought about buying a yacht and lives in Wisconsin. Okay.
Katarzyna squints at you in disbelief.
Is that a trick question? I was a respected employee, the most important person in the whole department. Okay, maybe not the most important, but key personnel for sure.
Belitskaya grows gloomy.
And to tell you the truth, I've confessed about it myself. But you can't help stealing when all the Silvers who run your department steal hundreds of thousands. At some point you start to think that you're a fool if you don't take part in this. Sorry, I don't want to talk about it.
The White nods cautiously.
Okay, just don't ask me about what happened at Magellan, okay? You won't, right?
She looks around.
Just don't tell anyone, all right? He's creepy. And the look is as if he hates you for some unknown reason. He also called me a liar once.
Katya lowers her eyes.
Yes, I often saw her in our laboratory. I thought she was just a robo-girl, but Akira gave her a lot of improvements. Sometimes she's just like a living one, and this makes me uncomfortable.
Katarzyna shakes her head. Belitskaya makes big eyes and switches to a loud whisper.
I just don't get what you and this psychopath have in common. Not only does she consider herself a fox and snorts like an animal, but she also has a split personality, you know? I once saw her sitting in the desert near the camp talking to her mask. And she talks on behalf of it, too. Like, using a different voice and all.
Katya's expression softens a bit.
She... well, I mean he's protecting me. And he doesn't condemn me for anything either.
Katarzyna sighs in frustration.
I used to think how cool it is to make friends with a celebrity, but it seems to me that our friendship with him will not work out. Apparently he doesn't like me. Think it's true?
Interesting.
The research mode is paused. Social mode. Hello, Senpai.
Yoko's eyes change color again. Yoko nods mechanically several times.
Yes, Senpai. Any conversation means collecting data, which coincides with my primary purpose of conducting research.
The system controlling Yoko's mimicry generates an expression of genuine interest.
I can provide information from the Chronos database, Senpai, but I understand you are interested in my personal evaluation.
She closes her eyes tight, pleased.
I imitate the reaction Jack provokes in most humans. He wins people's favor and is talented in many areas. Analysis of his actions suggests that Jack is egocentric. However, the risk he poses to the team is minor.
The fans in the girl's head grow slightly louder.
Leonard is a good companion. His character, life experience, and principles compensate for the flaws in his mental and intellectual development. He is predictable. That is a good thing.
The robo-girl tilts her head.
My evaluation is in line with the comments to Katarzyna Belitskaya's personnel file. She is not a good fit for teamwork, but I have a high estimation for her adaptability.
Your companion raises a finger in warning.
Please note, Senpai, that Daria is mentally unstable and may pose a threat under certain conditions. The risk level is unacceptably high.
The robo-girl nods.
Sparrow, very emotional and secretive, has problems with his perception of reality. However, my overall evaluation is positive. Sparrow is a good ally. The research mode is resumed,
Says Yoko. Her eyes are shimmering blue once again.
Okay, so it seems like they each have a comment that they
The
make.
research mode is paused. Social mode. Hello, Senpai.
Yoko's eyes change color again.
When they first enter the group, they have something to say about the companion.
The fan in her head begins to hum. Quiet and somehow surprised.
Does it mean that our common research program is finished?
Yoko looks at you with anxiety. It's modeled with incredible accuracy. You've already seen this look on Akira's face.
I returned to Magellan to fulfill my basic program. It was a pleasure working with you, Senpai. Don't answer. It's a standard phrase.
Yoko spreads her shoulders, throws her rifle onto her back, and leaves with firm steps.
Alright, I'm gonna go have to pick her up again. Well, I expected that to be Crump, but this is not Crump. Why are they letting this guy anywhere near any of this equipment? It's beyond me. Alright. Alright, I guess I have to go find Crump wherever he ran off to. And, let's check her terminal again. do we have here? Piece of sugar.
Russo is standing before the armored glass, hands clasped behind her, examining the hull of the emulator.
I've started deciphering the telemetry. It's a slow process, but when we finish, we'll know with certainty what our baby is capable of. You understand we'll be contacting Maelstrom again and again. There's a lot of work ahead of us.
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Where did this girl go? Why is she not here?
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place.
Have any documents for this servo shell whatsoever?
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better
Ah, Fox is here. I guess all the companions are gonna be here, huh?
Fox lifts her shoulders slightly. She goes around you in a circle, stretching her neck, tilting her head, and opening her mouth, as if getting a taste of the air.
You smell like Maelstrom. I like.
The woman nods in satisfaction, looking at you through the slits in the mask. She makes a soft, whimpering sound.
I saw you. There in the white light. And in my dreams. Then the dreams were gone. From me. From everyone.
Fox snorts contentedly through the mask.
Let's go. I'm not comfortable with your trickish woman. But I'm coming with you.
Two furious, unblinking eyes sparkle at you through the mask's slots.
Yeah?
She lets out a snort.
Well? Oh, this is gonna be fun.
She says mockingly, raising her mask. She snorts.
I'm not surprised that Kronos turned to shit. It was heading that way for a while. But the fact that it became so shit really scares me.
The woman shrugs.
They don't rely on anyone. They do everything themselves. They're cool. They scare me. Well, not them, but Zemeckis.
She chuckles meaningfully. Fox rolls her eyes.
Oh, Carmine Heights. I hate the atmosphere there. It's like one big troubled family. I'm not a fan of the concept of family in any form.
Your question is unexpectedly difficult for her. Fox considers her answer for a long time.
A lot of it is pretty disgusting. The drooling, dependent adepts, the aggressive proselytizing and so on. But there's another side to it. Many people want to escape to the virtual world of the temple. The church is disgusting. But they deserve respect for giving people that chance.
Your companion touches the mask, for a moment deep in thought.
I'm one myself, sort of. A fop is like a child with a shotgun. You need to be careful how you handle them. But there's no point being afraid. Yeah. Can't say it better than that.
She nods along with her thoughts. She lets out a snort.
Well?
She lifts the mask with visible effort.
Not a great idea. I don't like people. And I don't really get along with them either. But I'll try to be fair. And do my best to say something good about each of them. Go ahead. Ask.
Fox awaits your question. Her lips twitch in a faint smile.
I definitely won't say anything bad about him. Yes, he's cruel. Yes, his face is something you could use as a mold for a fright mask. But he's so holistic. Principled. He's not a bastard at all.
Your companion grins scornfully.
A liar. Thief. Coward. And always with the whining and self-pity. And she's useless in combat. Great choice for a companion, though. Way to go.
She raises one finger.
But if Katarzyna becomes attached to you, she'll be the most faithful friend you ever had. She'll do little favors for you, so you won't even notice. Seems like she's already attached, actually.
Fox snorts.
A robot is a robot. But she seems to be capable of learning. Whatever she becomes in the end depends solely on you.
Your companion smirks indulgently.
A lot of pathos, a lot of punching himself in the chest, and the constant me, me, me. Such aggression towards the bandits. I don't think it's about principles. He, she, I don't know what to call it. They're just out for revenge. But even if there's nothing but revenge, this determination is commendable. Sparrow is trying. He clearly made a great effort to become who he is.
She lightly touches her mask. Fox struggles to suppress a smile.
He talks as much as he drinks, which is a lot. Sometimes I wish he'd shut up. But then again, he sometimes has useful shit to say.
She lets out a snort.
Well?
She shakes her head.
I don't like talking about myself.
You catch her unawares. The girl draws back as far as the mask's tie string allows, staring at you in confusion and dismay.
We'll discuss it another time, okay?
She pulls the mask free of your grip and puts it back to her face in relief. She shakes her head.
I don't like talking about myself.
Red eyes look at you directly through the slits. After a moment, Fox lifts the mask to her forehead.
It's easier for me. I don't have to answer anyone's tactless questions. Feel what I'm getting at.
She scowls at you, however, she does not lower the mask. The girl snorts indignantly.
I didn't choose this. It's all Maelstrom. You were going to see it, weren't you? Well, go ahead. You can ask a question. Just buy a mask in advance. Daria Dombrovskaya. Bluing. I came here back in '72. Hands down the worst choice I've made in my life. As for going mad, well, I could pick that option even if I stayed back home. There was no need to travel so far.
Fox looks at you eloquently. She lets out a snort.
Well?
Your companion nods a fraction of an inch without diverting her heavy gaze. The fox hunches over a bit and quietly hisses.
I will be at the arena.
She leaves with a snort. Sparrow shakes your hand tightly.
I was afraid that something irreparable had happened and these whites simply sacrificed you. These people believe in science, not principles. Of course your death would not have been in vain, but I'd still feel sorry for losing you.
Sparrow wrinkles his forehead.
If I understood everything correctly, you were immersed in the very epicenter of radiation. I looked at you and saw that you were just standing there in the fog, day after day. And it's not clear whether it's you or, I don't know, your corpse maybe?
The sparrow's face lights up with a smile, the same one you saw on the day you met.
You can count on me. I will stand side by side with you. Together we will do much more for this world than apart. I'm in.
Sparrow nods at you with a serious face.
S. How hard would it have been to type it out?
Great. Now we're a team. Don't worry about Katarzyna. I'll protect her.
Sparrow shuffles his feet impatiently, but he looks deadly serious, and therefore funny.
So what? What's the plan? Let's not delay. Bastards won't punish themselves.
Your companion nods kindly.
I'm always happy to chat with a comrade in arms on any subject.
Sparrow grows excited.
The Dome is a battlefield where people of honor fight against carrion eaters. We have the power to stand on the side of truth and justice.
Your companion's eyebrows dart up angrily.
A bunch of sly bureaucrats, liars, bastards, and cowards. That place is the source of all injustice under the Dome. The ultimate evil. If everyone under the Dome became like those people in Picnic, it would mean my efforts had not been in vain. Though they weren't in vain anyway.
He shakes his head in time with his thoughts.
For the servo shell whatsoever.
Sparrow clenches his teeth.
Cronus gave criminals freedom, and the Phalanx united them into a gang. What else is there to say?
Your companion ponders.
They gave everyone voting privileges. But does that make sense if they're extended to bastards and murderers as well? That isn't good democracy. If they continue on this way, Zemeckis will end up in power.
He purses his lips.
I never said it, but I considered leaving for the world they created to be the person I always dreamed of being. But there's something off about them.
Sparrow frowns.
They cause innocent people to suffer. I don't like killing madmen, but I have to. Edmund Burke once said, "All that is necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing." That's the case here.
Your companion nods kindly.
I'm always happy to chat with a comrade in arms on any subject.
Sparrow raises his eyebrows, amused.
Discussing someone behind their back isn't my way. Though I'm happy to express my opinion about anyone I've fought alongside.
A displeased grimace appears on his face.
How did I guess you'd ask about Crump? I can't imagine what you'd have in common with that man. Taking pride in beating people up? Really? I was sympathetic at first. She complained so much about injustice that I even decided to protect her. But there is nothing unjust about what happened to her. She deserved her exile from Magellan. I don't know how to tell her what I think of her.
He shrugs guiltily. Your companion grabs your sleeve and pulls you closer.
I was just about to say a few things about Yoko. She's a robot, of course, but in some ways she really is a child. Not because of how she looks, but because she adopts your ideas of good and evil. Don't take advantage of her innocence, all right?
Sparrow looks away.
We have something in common with Fox. Life was harsh to both of us. But I don't approve of her hiding behind a mask. She seems brave enough, so why doesn't she have the courage to accept herself?
It's as if your companion is reading your mind.
I like him, but I've seen him avoiding me. I can only guess why.
Your companion nods kindly.
I'm always happy to chat with a comrade in arms on any subject. Personal?
Sparrow inquires warily. Sparrow spreads his arms ostentatiously.
Take a look around. The incident revealed everyone's true face. The criminals aren't hiding anymore. Now is the time for us to step out of the shadows, before these people turn the world into a burning hell.
He stares you in the eyes.
I see no other life for myself.
Sparrow's impassive expression slowly fades.
Because I know this. Evil has many faces. Not all criminals wear orange overalls. The most dangerous ones wear white. And they do the exact same things. Yet everyone gives them other names. Experiment instead of torture. Collateral damage instead of murder. Their status makes them untouchable. It's just wrong.
His voice quivers, and he clenches his fists. Sparrow shuffles his feet impatiently, but he looks deadly serious, and therefore funny.
So what? What's the plan? Let's not delay. Bastards won't punish themselves.
In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
He looks depressed.
That's too bad. But it seems to be my destiny to go my own way. Well, I'll continue my fight alone. Find me on the picnic if you change your mind.
Well, fuck me sideways.
Jack shakes your hand.
There was a movie named Piercing Time, a classic fantasy. When the main character, Doug McConaughey, entered the portal, the film tape was overexposed. It made everything bright and contrasting, and McConaughey seemed to dissolve in the flash of the portal. I watched you disappear in a white glow and remembered this very movie.
The actor shakes his head, as if completely unable to believe that you're standing in front of him. He makes a helpless gesture.
Sorry I missed your return. I was drunk.
Jack responds with his signature smile.
Say no more. I'm in. Let's go, huh? It's high time for grand actions together with Katarzyna, right? Keep in mind, I'm writing a script for my documentary, so if you want to have some expressive dialogues, you'd better think them through in good time. So what do you want?
Jack holds his Kairos mic out to your face. Jack looks at the bottleneck sticking out of his pocket.
Nah, there are problems with water here, not with alcohol. There's still so much of it that my liver could give up.
Branson nods readily.
I don't mind. In this dull desert, all you can do is drink and chat. Ask away.
Branson chuckles sarcastically.
Sounds like the start of a fight, but okay, ask.
Jack frowns.
At first, it seemed to me that they were cool. The world had collapsed, and those guys were trying to maintain order. And then I realized that they were maintaining order for the sake of order. That ain't cool.
The actor raises his eyebrows.
Peculiar guys. Either they're playing scouts, or something else is involved here.
Your conversation partner's face becomes serious.
They're all too active. Redesigning the world for yourself is a good thing, I guess. But they took it so zealously that I'm too scared to see the consequences.
Jack nods graciously.
They're all right. Might even live there.
The actor waves his hand as if to say that everything is very bad with the church.
Fuck that, I tell you.
He shrugs his shoulders briefly.
What do I think of them? Well, they're crazy. Dangerous. Either Nakamura will swat them, or Zemeckis will. It'll turn out bad for them either way.
Branson nods readily.
I don't mind. In this dull desert, all you can do is drink and chat. Ask away.
Your companion takes a step away from you.
Whoa, hold up. You can ask, of course, but I won't say much. I'm no gossip.
The actor smiles slightly.
Well, look. There's something more to him than your garden variety bully. He may not be the star of the show, but let's just say he's a badass supporting character.
Jack Branson strokes his chin thoughtfully.
In the movies, you work with all sorts of people, and compared to them, Katarzyna isn't half bad, but I still don't trust her. I'll say this. If we get into something serious and she doesn't flinch, she'll have my respect. Until then, well, no one's asking her to be the hero.
Your companion grins.
She's a robot. What can you say? There was a movie called Mirror Sphere, which I really loved. I often fantasized about having my own Rich as a sidekick and saving the world together. It's funny how everything we dream about eventually comes true, but nothing like the way we expected.
Jack waxes thoughtful.
I've heard her crying at night. When Daria takes off her mask, she's no longer Fox. I think about this all the time for some reason.
He grins faintly.
Damn, to be honest, Sparrow worries me. These people who are always fighting for something without compromise, something's definitely wrong with them.
Branson nods readily.
I don't mind. In this dull desert, all you can do is drink and chat. Ask away.
The actor peers at the bottleneck sticking out of his pocket.
I gotta have a little drink during such conversations, although honestly, there's little that can embarrass me. My first job was as a life model at an art school.
Branson sighs heavily.
Okay, I'll tell you about it as a gesture of good faith. All in all, you know actors live a harsh life. Sometimes we film in all kinds of shit. Sometimes we have to sleep with the director. Yeah, I'll tell you right now, this is not my case. Anyway, once upon a time I was asked to play a character in one game. Well, play is one word. I was just his voice, and my picture was on the cover of the game. Those guys promised me commissions, but there were no sales. no one was buying that stupid game. And then they gave me this character. I became Cheerful Jack's owner. Well, that was a huge thank you.
The actor makes a sarcastic bow into space.
Honestly, I hated Jack. But then it turned out, although there were no sales, the game was very popular. People started to recognize me. But what was more important, movie people found out about me. Somehow, they learned that I had the character's copyright. And Mike Gobson's like, ahoy, I want Cheerful Jack to make a cereal commercial. And Mayweather's like, Cheerful Jack must be in my movie. The name just stuck.
You see almost Shakespearean despair written on Jack's face. He takes a bottle out of his pocket and takes a swilling gulp.
That's the story, actually.
So we need 50 reputation with him to get to the next conversation point. I don't know if I need to have him with me to get reputation or not, but I'm gonna assume that I do, so I'm gonna take him with me until I can get that up.
Belitskaya casts around nervously.
I'm starting to worry again. Frankly, I'm straight up scared. We're not gonna get stranded far from civilization, are we? Are there dry closets where you're headed? Hey! I don't like that silence.
Belitskaya's shifty eyes begin to wander around in fear.
But we're so far away from civilization. Listen, can I stay with you temporarily? Well, until we get to Magellan.
Okay, no.
She rapidly turns pale.
Oh
No.
my god.
No. I'm on my own again. How am I supposed to make it?
What the hell happened there? Oh, for fuck's sake. That's not gonna happen. When's the last time I saved this fucking thing? Loaded, went through the conversations I didn't save, and now I'm back to this point, so telling her to go on her own is a gigantic reputation hit, so I'm not gonna do that. So we will agree.
Katarzyna sighs in relief.
Oh, thank you. Then we'll talk again when we get to our destination. Frankly speaking, I hope you change your mind.
So that means I need to take Cheerful Jack out of
Keep
here.
in mind, I'm writing a script for my documentary, so if you want to have some expressive dialogues, you'd better think them through in good time. So what do you want?
Jack holds his Kairos mic out to your face. Jack puts a good face on, but he seems to be upset.
Fine. If you happen to miss my company, I'll be on the executive floor of the Magellan.
Attention. Please handle relics carefully.
Alright.
In case of damage, your life
The
will
servo
be
shell?
forfeit.
Do you even have a permit to wear it here?
So I think this is... Crump's the last one I have. Let's pick him up.
Crump stares at you for a long time, then, without a word, pats your shoulder with a heavy hand. He's obviously glad to see you again, although he doesn't show it. The brute makes a helpless gesture.
Well, there was so much radiation. The sensors went right off the scale. Everyone panicked. Thought you were gone. And there you are, still breathing.
The orange smirks with his slit mouth.
Well, I don't see why not. Let's go. A lot of folks here under the dome could use a good beating. Okay, come on. Just tell that Katarzyna not to bother me. Lies a lot. Fusses around beside the point.
The bruiser quizzically sticks out his chin.
Uh-huh.
Damage, your life will be forfeit.
The bruiser looks at you questioningly.
Hmm?
Some interest flashes in Crump's gaze.
I've seen all sorts of freaks here, yeah? Who would you want to ask about?
The orange shakes his head in disapproval.
Fascists. All they do is tighten the screws and spread bureaucracy. And the prisons are nasty there.
Your companion smiles slightly.
Not enough strength, but the approach is fine. They are strong, and they're cramped here. Fuck knows what to expect from them. Maybe they'll even start a war.
He says after a pause. The bruiser scratches his cheekbone.
The new committee is the opposite. No order at all. What they live off is unclear, but I wouldn't want that kind of freedom.
The brute squints his eyes.
For sectarian schmucks that they are, they live too well. They're not as simple as they look, right?
An expression of sympathy appears on the orange's face.
I've seen psychos. You know, it's not their fault that their brains got fried up.
The bruiser looks at you questioningly.
I'm not a fan of dishing, but okay, ask.
Crump shrugs reluctantly. The bruiser's gaze becomes scornful and derisive.
You watch this woman. One day she'll rob you and run away. I got a nose for such.
The bruiser shivers.
Oh, a killer robot that looks like a child. Creepy.
He chuckles.
She's mad, of course, but I'd hold on to her. Reliable.
The orange thinks hard.
Can't say it briefly, and I don't like long talks. He and I don't like each other, that's understandable. But he's got major problems with his head, even worse than I do. I usually stay clear of such people. At first, he pissed me off. Big mouth. But then, I looked closer at him. He's a fine guy. A tough one.
He gives a thumbs up. The bruiser looks at you questioningly. The orange grunts long and hoarsely.
I'm not a big fan of talking about myself. There's a lot you don't know about me.
He grins mirthlessly out of the corner of his mouth. After thinking, Crump holds out his hand.
Leo. Well, Leonard. Leonard Peterson. My mother was slightly original. Durham. Old Lady England.
He nods slowly and deeply, as if remembering something. Crump wrinkles his forehead.
I love to fight. Drinking's fine too. I love bumblebees. They're pretty. I read one book in prison. There was this guy who wrote about painting. Like, from the Renaissance to the present day. Not all things clear, but all right in general. You know, there was this artist, Mark Rothko. So there. I like him.
The bruiser stretches his lips in an unexpected, clear and friendly smile.
People don't really like those paintings. Ask any random schmuck from the street and he'll tell you that it's crap, but that's nothing. Rothko had this thing with colours. One colour shines through another. The paintings were immense, and the colour goes beyond the edge of the canvas as if continuing off the sides. Wonderful.
Leonard gets excited and starts gesticulating.
That's what people think. If something looks simple, it's simple. And they think Rothko is simple. That's so dumb. He's not simple at all.
The orange finishes articulately. The bruiser shrugs.
They beat me. You know, children are evil. And in a small town, especially so.
He looks at you with displeasure.
Let's quit with idle chatter.
The orange scratches the back of his head.
Well, if you look into it, he lived well. Mum was weird, and Dad was pretty cool, though I can hardly remember him. You know how it goes. Went out for cigarettes and just split. But me mum loved him anyway. She said he was one brave son of a gun during the war.
He thinks hard, then waves his hand in displeasure.
I don't remember a damn thing from childhood. I got a lot on my mind. Memory's not as good as it used to be. Felix Mitchell. There was such a kid in our class. Asshole. Everyone was afraid of him. But I snuck up on him and smashed his face with the school gate. And then I fought his brother and all the punks. Basically, they threw me into the slammer straight from my school desk.
A better place.
The orange cackles.
Well, duh, like prison. Even then I was still one heck of a fighter. A guy with no brakes. In prison you can't slow down at all. If some bully pushes you around, gotta hit him back. Doesn't matter if he's bigger, if you don't put him in place, it'll be worse.
Crump sighs.
Heard about Ronnie Cray? We were in the same jail. Became friends with him. Guess that's all. There isn't much interesting shit going on in prison. I don't recommend it, if you ask me.
The orange grins. The bruiser throws up his hands.
The Cray brothers gave me a job. Ronnie was a hothead, but Reggie was a bit smarter, you know, business type. Such a thoughtful guy. I worked for them for a few years. Shook down all sorts of hucksters, bookmakers, underground bottling shops. In the end, Reggie did what he always wanted. He bought himself a club. I became friends with Doug Price there, and he got me into the underground boxing.
Crump's face, already grim, is twisted into a bleak grimace.
They still talk about me, like I beat McLean, but that's bullshit. It was a draw. Boxing is just like that. You get in, and you stay until the very end, while you can still box. I would have stayed, but my stupid ass got back into prison. In Broadmoor. It's not even a prison. More of a loony bin with bars, and that's where it was worst.
His eyes glaze over and he becomes silent for a while.
Broadmoor.
Crump raises his hand to stop you.
Wait. I was talking about my old man at first. I always wanted to look him in the eye, ask why he left. Rumour has it Dad's here, under the dome. And I thought, what's there to lose? At least, we'll talk.
He struggles to utter the last words. The orange frowns.
Never mind. What do you want to discuss?
The bruiser looks at you questioningly.
So Crump's dad is here, supposedly. Alright, so that's all the characters and reputation points that I have that I can get the conversation points. So, plan is to go back and pick up Jack so I can try to get to that 50 reputation level for him and continue on. Yeah, so we'll talk to the rest of the guys here and then head over and get Jack. Alright, later guys.